We'll go more to your right. To the right.
To the right. To the right. Getting in the frame.
What's that one song?
To the left. To the left. Irreplaceable by Beyonce. Irreplaceable.
We ready, Kate? We good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, cool.
Guys, ready?
Ready to go.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Action.
You talking to me? I'm talking to you. This is talking to me, talking to you. And I got the boys sitting in front of me.
The boys.
What's
Mike
up?
and Nick Heffron. Oh my God.
Glad to be talking to you.
Dude, you guys are sitting here talking to me. I can't believe it. Yeah, talking to you.
We're talking to
I
you.
love it. Oh man, how you guys doing? You guys drove all the way out here. You guys came from the west side of town, right?
West
right.
Side, yeah.
Yeah.
Drove about it's about an hour drive out
God
here.
bless. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
pretty far out on the east side, so that makes sense. But you guys made it here. I got you here
Yeah.
now.
No worries.
And I got a lot to talk to you about. So I want to start off first. Is you guys are on my podcast.
Right.
I was just on your guys' podcast.
Yeah.
That was really fun. That was fun to do. That was our first like video chat in with ever recording like a video chat.
Oh, yeah?
Ever. Like that's the first time we've ever been involved with that. We kind of just like set the computer up, got our mics.
But yeah, you guys crushed it. You had the
Yeah.
mics. You had everything.
It was cool, man, because it just worked out. Like it was just like set up for our mics. Like it just like, oh, click this and it was ready.
Boom.
It was
Right.
nice. It was super fun to do that though. It was super fun to talk to you guys. That was our first real interview, I'd say, Caden, right? Like that was our first like someone like
Yeah.
asking us questions about what we do. So it was fun for us to really break down like kind of like in a way that people can understand what we do when we do our films and we do our the podcast and all that. And so you guys have your own podcast. So
That's right.
what made you guys like want to start doing podcasts? Because I talked about that a lot on yours, but what made you guys want to really get into it?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a lot of the same sort of things. We see a lot of people doing podcasts, and I got into podcasts pretty heavy, I say like a couple years ago.
Okay,
Something like that.
Yeah, you said you listen to like audio podcasts a lot.
Yeah, like, starting with like the Joe Rogans and like murder mystery podcasts
Yeah,
and like
Right.
something
kind
specific
of the storytelling things, yeah.
Yeah, some musician, and it was kind of, I don't know, I guess it was like YouTube shows that kind of turned into podcasts. I feel like a lot of things were like a blog, like a written blog, and then they turned into a video blog on YouTube, and then they turned into a podcast.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we were talking about doing a podcast for a while, and a lot of people would always tell us, like if we were at a party or something and we're just kind of riffing,
Yeah.
they'd be like, you guys should start a podcast. You guys should start a podcast.
That's
start a
cool.
podcast.
So kind of like
I would listen to that. Right.
yeah,
right.
like someone like someone telling jokes at the party is real funny. Someone goes, "Oh, you should be a stand-up comedian," Something
Yeah,
like,
for
kinda
sure.
like that.
It's
Yeah,
like, dude,
okay,
you
yeah.
should tell jokes.
I've kind of thought
You're
that.
funny.
Yeah, you guys have always been really like I thought like brilliant when it comes to like word crafting. I mean, you guys are great songwriters together. You guys have your own band, Infinity Spree, that you guys. You said you're gonna start getting into things again with that band. On the before I think, but I'm not. I just want to ask you, because I have a video pulled up. I'm gonna get to it in here in a second.
Ooh,
it's
okay.
my favorite one that you guys did so far. But you guys always do great, man. But so
Thank you.
So with doing music and doing podcasts together and all that, like you guys are brothers, and then it's awesome that you guys can do that, like work together throughout your lives to create, just art together. So how how does that work? Because I have a brother. I mean, love him to death, but I don't think I could ever like work with him to be a creator with and do art with, unless like I used him as like a parkour guy and just ran and like was just
Sure.
chasing him in a movie or something like
Right.
that. But that's just a quick thing. I don't think I could like collaborate and work with him like that. So like, how do you guys like really get to doing that? Growing up together.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think it all has just come with experience. I mean, we started playing in bands together back in like 2007.
Okay.
I mean,
Wow, yeah.
I mean, I was a freshman in high school and Mike was a junior, and just kind of working together. When Mike did his first production in theater out in Marymount, I
True,
did like
yeah.
a little backstage part and some production things like that, and with a couple of his things. And I think just kind of working together just for so long and just kind of building the dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much we know each other's strengths.
Yeah.
So when we start a new project or something, it's like, all right, now we're gonna do this, and we're always just immediately on board.
Yeah,
with one another.
I think because we even started playing. Like the first like band idea that we had was this Beatles tribute band. The Beatles,
that's perfect.
is one of our favorite bands.
Yeah.
And so when we first got instruments, that was like our first thing, and we would like rehearse the songs, and we never did anything with it, never played. But we were like, I think I was like 13, it was like 11, so it was young.
Wow.
But we've always kind of both shared that same creative
passion,
like mission. Yeah, right. Like, because a lot of people have told us that same thing. They're like, I don't know how you guys can get along. Like, I hate my siblings.
So.
You know,
that's why I wanted to ask you guys that.
Because some people are just really different. You know, like somebody like could be an artist or something, and then their brother or their sister is like not into it at all. Type thing.
Yeah, you got to find people like me and Caden. Like me and Caden have known each other for about 4 years now. We've done shit together. 5 now, yeah. So we've done stuff together consecutively for 5 years, and you know, if we found somebody to do that with. Not many people can do that. You guys were born and had each other from the get, and that's super cool. Right. So you said it was like a theater thing that you'd done and you jumped on. So that was like the first thing you guys really like did, like collaborate as like artists together. So that's cool. So and then you said music was around 11, 13. So you guys have just always been doing like creative, artistic stuff your entire lives.
We're both Aquarius.
Oh,
so we kind of share that like artistic side, and I think, and also that we don't have any other blood siblings. We have a half sister who's like much older than us. But the fact that, you know, just growing up, I mean, every holiday was just, you know, when you going out to see family or something, it was always Mike and I and the family. And, you know, it was just kind of like us versus the world always. There really cool. was no like other sibling to kind of be like, oh, well, we don't get along with them, but like we do our own thing. It's just the fact that it was always just the two of us.
And since we both wanted to do those creative things, you know, our parents didn't have to split up time between like, all right, they're going to do band practice while this sibling is going to do soccer, and we got to be at the soccer game, we got to be at the concert, you know, this and this and this. You guys are doing
the same shit at the
same
same
our parents
time.
have always supported it too. Like, they're both creative people as well.
I've seen your dad lingering around like on the internet, like supporting you guys.
Yeah, he plays shows. Awesome, man. Like, he was in bands throughout his whole like time growing up. So like us being in bands was not weird for him. To be like, you know, he wasn't annoyed by it. I feel like a lot of people, like, their parents really disagree with guys' choice to, like, be in a band and spend so much time playing music.
Yeah, even my mom, who is, like, very supportive of what I do, like, playing music. Like, I play music loud for a little too long. Guess what? She's at my door knocking, bitching up a storm, saying, turn that shit off.
Right. Yeah. Time to stop practicing.
Yeah, it's time to stop.
Take a break.
Even though she was super supportive of it. But that's awesome, man. So I want to get to this video example of you guys playing together, the music that you guys create. Like I said, you guys are awesome artists and like just super. So did you guys, this is hard to say, did you guys think of the concept to this?
Yeah, we developed the concept and sort of the overall story.
What I love that the fact that you bring this up, that you bring up the videos and we can kind of like give some background on it. That like this video was shot, we rented a hotel room.
Okay.
And we shot it overnight. It was like a third shift type of shoot. The live band shots were shot on a different day, but the whole kind of narrative of this right here was shot, and we just pretty much like tore apart this hotel room, like moved all the beds and moved everything around, and kind of like faked the kind of disarray of the whole environment. Like we kind of like took garbage like from like our cars and stuff and like put it in there just as like just prop garbage. And it was a super interesting experience.
Okay, I see the garbage. Yeah, dude.
But yeah, we came up with the.
I never noticed that in the first playthrough. I just noticed like the ink and the no signal, and like, you know, it felt like you're trying to reach somebody almost, and then you couldn't contact them because they're isolating themselves. That's kind of what I got the first time I seen it. About it was like 3 years ago. You guys dropped this about 3 years ago.
This was dropped in 2017.
And that's our friend Cece.
Okay, I was gonna ask who that was. I was gonna ask also who like filmed this.
This was shot by David Nuge.
Oh, Nuge.
Yeah,
Okay,
you can search.
Nuge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
man,
can
he's
Facebook
great.
Nuge, Nuge. You can find. He does amazing stuff.
He does a lot of your guys' video work, right? For your like music videos.
He did. Yeah.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
I know. Like this one, and then another one for Infinity Spree, and then I think we did 2 cover songs with Nuge as well.
Yeah, he did that one with the sweet lighting, like what you guys in the background, like almost like a garage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
cool
we
one
did
too.
the Downfall
I was
video with
deciding
him.
between
Yeah.
that one and this one. Yeah, I didn't know which one to pick.
Downfall turned out cool, but this one, it has like more of a story to it.
Yeah,
for sure.
it did, and like I definitely wanted to pick that one because we do, cinematics and like you.
Right.
We talked to you guys about being on one of our movies like down the road with the Russian and
I'm
stuff.
super
We're
down.
super excited about that. But yeah, the concept of it is somebody who is isolating themselves and that you can't really get through to them no matter what, which is why it's like, you tried so long but it's just too hard to stay. Just like to stay with them.
Man, it is really good. Like concept
we had one shot at that hand like angel wing thing with the ink. Cece was an amazing sport for this whole video.
Really,
she just crushed it.
Yeah, it just feels like a natural vibe. You know what I mean? Like it's. Oh, and then you change to the black and white. Like that's
And then there's me dead in the bathtub.
Oh. Shit.
And we actually did this take like a number of times, and of her slamming me up against the wall, and
Yeah, you'll see.
and and
like,
and and it was like a straight slam, and like she was like, I don't want to hurt you. I'm like, no, this is for the thing.
Well, did you watch the last one with me and my cousin Ricky? How we talked about when he fake drowned me in the video? How like I was basically getting drowned, and it sucked so bad. I'm like, dude, it's okay, man. How many more takes we got?
Right. I think people think everything in movies is like totally faked, but
it's
I mean,
not.
you hear
It's
stories
like
of like
wrestling.
The Exorcist
Right.
and like Stanley Kubrick and a lot of those like Apocalypse Now when Martin Sheen punches that mirror, like he for real punched it. Like his
Yeah.
hand
was
is
for real
bloody
bleeding.
and messed up.
Leonardo DiCaprio and what is it, Django, when he cuts his hand on the skull.
I never saw Django.
He cut his hand on a skull and then he rubbed it against this girl's face in the scene, and she was like literally disgusted by it
'Cause it was real
She recognized that it was blood on his hand. Yeah, it's
wow.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike took years of stage combat,
Oh, really?
and
Like faking the combat and stuff like that.
Dude,
But
Star Wars should call
again,
your
with
ass.
again with that, it's not all fake. You actually do take some hits.
Yeah, it's like professional wrestling that
Yeah.
way, where
Absolutely.
it's not like they're really trying to hurt each other, but they understand that there's some impact. There's some impact going on here.
For sure, man. And like, but that's just so cool how like you guys are able to get somebody to come in, be an actor. You guys did a cool, like you said, for the. So you rented an apartment for the narrative.
A hotel room.
A hotel
Yeah,
room.
real
Hotel,
shit
yeah.
motel.
That's awesome.
Like
And how much it cost?
it was like the cheap. I think it was like $65
That's
or
not
something.
bad. That's
like
Funny
the
story
whole floor
about
was
it.
tile,
Yeah.
which is weird. Like
That is
you ever been to a
weird.
hotel room with the floor? is
No, it's always like
it
that
felt
shitty, like my rug. It's like this.
It's
that-
carpeted
it's that
always,
carpet.
or it's like hardwood, but it's never like bathroom tile throughout
Right.
the whole place. It
Wow.
felt like the beach water park or something. It was
Yeah, that's
very
really-
odd.
that's really-
very odd
But
place.
the people that were staying at the hotel, they swore up and down that we were shooting a porno because it was like me and Mike, a girl, and like a little Asian guy with a camera.
Oh yeah.
We're bringing in
And
lighting.
we're like bringing in
we're
lighting and
doing-
stuff,
yeah.
and they're like, yo, shooting a porno in there. We're like, no, it's not. And then throughout the night, we would take breaks and stuff, and we would keep going outside. And
Go
like
out,
there are
take a
people
smoke
like,
break.
there's the guy shooting the porno. It's like, damn, now word has spread around this motel.
the
Like, how do
porno
you
guy.
guys know each other?
Dude, they live there. The weirdest thing, like especially being on tour and you stay in a lot of hotels and like you stay at cheap ones
Yeah.
because you want to save money, you find that people live at motels.
Sure.
Like, that's where they live.
With their whole family. It's like 4 or 5 kids and stuff.
That's cool.
And they hang out with each other.
Wasn't the Florida Project about that? The movie The Florida Project?
I never saw it.
I didn't either, but I think it was that what it was about?
Solid Willem Dafoe movie.
Yeah, Willem Dafoe's in it.
So it's like living at a motel type thing?
Good.
Yeah, they live in a motel. Like, I think they're like a few miles down from like Disneyland or something like that, and just living, like that, just rough. And
stuff, it's a real life. Like, we were in Bowling Green, Ohio, staying at this like very strange. What was it? It was like a Days Inn, or like a La Quinta Inn or something like that, and it was odd setup. Like, it looked like the Pentagon.
Mm-hmm.
And there was like a courtyard in the middle. Yeah. I think it was more like an octagon. But yeah, like big courtyard in the middle. And like you had a door on the front and then a door to go into it. And I was out there.
That's kind of cool.
Doing yoga. Mike was like doing yoga. Like,
I was doing like a little yoga session. We were in a big hippie band at the time. So it was fun. And then all of a sudden, like I hear this like little round of applause. And I like look around, and there's like 4 kids like sitting in the grass, like watching me, and they're like, "Teach us."
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm like, "Who are these kids?" And then I figured they were just kids staying there for some reason. But then they would be like, "Yeah, I live in that room, and my cousin lives in that room."
There's a whole families.
Yeah, multiple families that know each other living in the motel, and like the kids all know each other, and they're playing together. Like that should be a movie right there, like some Sandlot type thing.
Dude, wow.
But I know
motel kids.
that there are some housing programs that like kind of like displaced families.
Yeah.
They get put up there, and it's like
that
paid
makes
by
sense.
Child and Family Services and stuff.
Yeah. I know, especially a lot of like disaster, like place gets hit by disaster, they'll
there's a lot of
put up
you're right.
people
Yeah, that
for
probably
extended time.
That's probably where a lot of those situations kind of stir from. Yeah, it's like people having to move from where they're at due to either disasters or just
hard situations.
Gentrification, just like stuff like that. Different things pushing people out of towns, and that's how it's always happened. I mean, just look at like we were talking about river towns. They're all deserted now, and that's just how it is. It's just time passes.
But Mike caused quite a stir after the kids started like watching them, and then like they were like doing the poses with them, and then like the parents are coming out like,
God.
"What in the hell are you doing to my children?"
Oh my God. You're trying to teach kids yoga.
like your kids are bothering me. For one. So you should be telling your kids, stop bothering that man. He's a stranger.
Yeah.
Instead of hanging out with me.
You teach your kids not to talk to strangers.
I had no problem with it either.
For sure.
So, because it's
totally
pretty fun.
I can see you handling that situation pretty well. They're like, whoa. Hey.
Yeah. And then the kids wanted us to hang out with them and stuff, and it's like, it'd be goofy. But then we had to play a show that night, and then the parents are like, "Where's your show at? Maybe we'll come down."
It's like, we're at Howard's.
Like, okay.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, Howard's
Club H."
Yep, Howard's Club
Bowling
H.
Green. Wow. It's a classic rock nightclub.
Oh, nice.
It's got all this history and stuff. But
it's a cool spot.
When we got there, we found out the kids at the university don't really care about rock music that much.
Yeah.
They're mainly into DJs and party. This was like 2015.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So,
it was in like early May too, so I don't know if the kids were like, it was like finals week or something. I feel like it's always finals week.
Yeah, it's
right
weird.
when like the summer hits, it's like, man, I wish I could go, but it's finals week. I was like, I feel like you gave me that excuse 2.5 weeks ago.
They do finals all the time.
Yeah, it's true.
But we had some some college kids would light up hula hoops that came out and jammed with us, and that was fun.
It was cool.
That is cool, man. I mean, and that's what's cool about music and travel and stuff. You get to experience so many different, like spots of life, and it really like look at people from a whole perspective. Like, man, there's so many different experiences and things that could happen to you that
for sure.
You just don't know. Like, you just don't know if you're stuck in your same small town forever. It's just that you don't get to experience those things. But no, I kind of wanted to also talk about. I kind of want to spotlight you guys as individuals a little bit. I mean, you guys are fantastic. Group, like, to do the podcast. You guys got a band. I want to start with Nick. So you're in a band with a good friend of mine, Adam Lee.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So Sunday Drives. Yes. Oh my gosh, I love him. I love him so much. I see him at Kroger all the time. That's where we. That's where we meet up at. That's a spot.
East Side local.
Yeah.
East Side legend.
Yeah.
I should say.
Yeah. We talked about that. Jimmy, where he met Adam, Batavia Station. I'm like, man, there were so many legends at that. place. It's crazy.
Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, the fact that like I never was around for that because we were, you know, very displaced from the East Side scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was actually giving me some history on that whole thing as well.
Oh, really? Did he see that and like kind of like spur some like thoughts and conversation?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Because when I saw your episode with Jimmy, and I saw that, you know, that was his uncle's place.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's where you met all those guys. And Adam was like, yeah, man, like that was like the spot.
That's super cool, man. So how did you end up meeting Adam and getting involved in like doing what you do with him?
So it's funny. Like I always love telling the story of that. There was never a day where we like introduced ourselves to one another. There was never a day where I was like, I'm Nick, I'm Adam, nice to meet you type shit.
It's just you were there in the same rooms.
Well, yeah. So Mike and I worked down in Covington in like 2013, 2014 with a company called Anthem Project. And we booked local shows like all around the Covington area, like Old Town Tavern, Backstage Cafe, Madison Theater, and like it was just like this team of 7 of us that would meet up at Backstage every day, and we would just scour the internet. I mean, we knew so much about the local scene because it was literally our jobs. And it was funny that, you know, that you could bring up someone's name like, do you know Kyle so-and-so? And I'm like, is he in a band? They're like, yeah, what band? And they would say the name, and I'd be like, oh yeah, that band.
I know that
they
guy,
actually just dropped a record, and they played a show out at this place. They did okay. They probably had like 60 people out there, and actually so and so played with them, who's a good friend of ours that we actually just booked. And like, yeah, the
like
whole spider web
of like the city's music. Like,
right.
That's what it. Yeah, that's awesome.
And everyone kind of had their own niche within Anthem Project, and we got hired on because that was right around the time that we started doing the jam band thing. And so we were kind of in charge of running the jam band scene. But our buddy Jeb Fields, who actually went on to do like a ton of other stuff, like within
he's
the
like full-time
production
pro level
world.
production. He's toured.
wow.
He's toured with like some
Mute Math. He's toured. He's
done like major festival production like
That's
around
awesome.
the country, like from like Texas, and you know, I think he went to like Alaska for a while. Like,
but like
dude's monster.
everyone
He's
kind of
awesome.
had their like choice bands. Like Andrew Eisler from Ocean Grid was in there. He's now with the Native Brand podcast.
Okay, yeah.
And he kind of like ran like the metalcore kind of side of it, but Jeb kind of ran like the alternative rock kind of side of it, and he booked like a little band called See You in the Funnies. That
Shout out
were
to them
just
boys.
that were like just kind of like springing up.
Yeah.
And a little band called Sunday Drives.
Yeah.
And like I had seen them play at Backstage Cafe like a number of times, but like Jeb was always the ones kind of booking those groups, and I just, you know, names like Rockstead and No Prisoner and, you know, just
Arlo
like
McKinley.
Arlo McKinley. I mean, yeah, Arlo's doing big shit now too, but it was just funny that we kind of were just always in the local scene with one another, and then started, you know, sharing festival dates with each other, and just kind of being in the same room.
Because didn't you guys? I remember. I think I seen one show. Wasn't it? Was this? Correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't this the bill? Wasn't it Sunday Drives, Infinity Spree, Seeing the Funnies?
That was for Infinity Spree's album release, which happened at Legends on August 4th.
Yes, that's
Caitlin
right.
Peace was on
2018.
that show too, right? Caitlin Peace and Electric
I knew I was
Championes.
missing one. I couldn't remember.
But Adam was solo all through 2018, and I booked him for the front stage. So like Legends has that front room stage, and then the backstage, like the big main area,
which is perfect, man. He soothes people's
absolutely.
Man.
But it like that whole venue, I wanted to kind of utilize both stages in the fact that there was nonstop entertainment.
Yeah.
Because when the whole show was done in the back room, the bar was in the front room. So everyone's like, oh, time to go refill our drinks and, you know, get new stuff, and then that whole place would fill up, and as soon as it filled up, there's Adam playing right there.
Yeah.
So, and we kind of connected more when we did like the Rock and Revival down at Southgate House.
Yeah.
And because Adam was actually the one that got those big promo shoots together.
Okay.
And Sandwich Jones would film them.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that until I joined, because like we always got invited, Infinity Spree got invited to the big, big giant meetup where we're like, he would try to get every single artist that was on the bill down to the Southgate House.
Oh my god.
That was fun.
Yeah, I do.
I
do remember seeing
weird
this.
days,
Yeah, I mean, like meeting up in like a cold ass day in February, just like meeting up at like 10 a.m. at the Southgate House, and like everyone's
like
just kind of
20
like,
bands.
right.
That's
He would
awesome.
pull so many people, but we kind of got talking there, and Adam went on tour in 2018 after he had played the Legends show for us and stuff, and he was supposed to play at Wooden Cask. Like his tour ended in Kentucky, Wooden Cask Brewing, and it got dropped, and then Legends picked up the show like within like a couple hours notice.
So then it ended up being there.
So then it ended up being there, and when Adam posted, he was like, "Hey, I'm going to be playing at Legends tonight." I lived like 45 seconds away from there. So I was like, "Oh, Adam's playing down the street.
Show up.
I'll go up and see him." So I went up and saw him, and that night he was talking about like, I'm about to start getting in the studio. I'm about to record this album. And that's what piqued my interest, because being a multi-instrumentalist, that's like my favorite thing, just like to get in a studio and kind of like have like a one solo artist and kind of like build a sound around it. Do the drums, do the keys. And
I've always said that about you too. Like you're like, to me, like the one person that is the most well-rounded musician. Like
thank you, man.
You can sing by yourself. You can sing harmonies. You can play guitar, drums, bass, name it, basically. Right. Name it, and you can do
in like a rock band setting. I can't play like I can't play like saxophone.
You can play bagpipes,
jump into
penny whistle,
jump into a jazz band
do a
with
little
saxophone.
harmonica here and there.
Ocarina of Time, you name it.
Yeah.
But I went up to him after the show, and I was like, it's like, "Yo, man, you said you're recording an album?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to get into it." And he was like, "Well,
let me
like come in and like play some drums for you, or play some
perfect
guitar for you." And he just kept saying, he's like, "Yeah, and some keys."
and some keys.
And I was like, yeah, I can play some keys too, but I can play drums, I play bass, and he's
But
like,
some keys.
"But those fucking keys."
I want them keys.
And I was like, okay, he's really hard up on the
He wants
keys.
some keys.
Yeah.
Where was he recording? I can't remember.
He had, he had been recording out at Rook House with Johnny Chords.
Yeah.
Johnny Chords.
But he really was in like, he was looking around at a bunch of different places. But, I was just like, yeah, sure, man. Yeah, I can do that. And then we tried to get together probably like 10 times. And like every time he was like, can't do it.
Yeah.
And then one time he came over to my house.
Just takes one.
Yep.
It
And
just takes
then
one.
within like 15 minutes, he was like, "This is the thing."
You're in.
And I was
You're
like,
in, dude.
Within 15 minutes.
right. And I was like, "What do you mean it's the thing?" Like, yeah, we're gonna like do some recording together. He's like, No. This is the fucking band. And I was like,
You're
"Oh,
in, dude.
oh, okay. Like, you want like do like some live stuff too?" And he's like, "No, like this is the thing."
You're in.
I was like, "Oh, okay. I'm in Sunday Drives now."
I love it. That worked out perfectly too, man. Because you add to his sound so well. Because Adam's developed his own craft. He's from the same town I'm from,
right?
And he's developed his own unique, perfect sound for him. You know what I mean? Like
that's what I've always loved about just watching him solo. Was the first time that I really like. I had seen him play with Johnny back in 2013, 2014, but it was still kind of like a new thing. But in 2018, when he played the late night set at Southgate House, and I just saw these people just like so enthralled with his solo show, and he's just like dancing around, and I was like, this is the most entertaining one-man acoustic thing I've ever seen in my life. It's great,
dude. It's fantastic. And so I want to. Well, I got a video pulled up. I want to show a video of you and him playing together. This was. I don't know where this is at. Let me see if it's in the.
Oh, this is
Redmore. It's at the Redmore. At the Redmore Theater. So yeah, I just want to play this.
It's gonna come in with the audio.
Okay. Oh, nice. So this was a little bit after you joined them, right?
Yeah. So this was. We played our first show January 5th, 2019. This was December 21st.
Okay.
And we booked the Redmore. I booked it like 7 months in advance because I just knew that there weren't many bands booking at the Redmore, like local acts. It's like
I've seen maybe 2 shows there.
Right. It's like a wedding venue. It's like an event space. But we played with our jam band there back in 2015 with a band called Strange Mechanics.
Okay, yeah.
And that room is just so beautiful. I mean, it's just
nice.
like it's
I
just
love
such
the seating and I love the theater feel.
Right. And Mike and I were actually talking on our way out here of just like how long we've been curating events, events in general. And this show was super special to me because we got Harlot and the Hounds, we got Lift the Medium to do an acoustic set.
Oh wow.
So like Harlot and the Hounds, just their whole vibe is just so cool and grassrootsy. And then Lift the Medium doing an acoustic set, and which was kind of unlike them, but man, they were just so cool. Like their harmonies were so great, and it just fit the whole vibe. And just, I didn't want to just throw like a cool show. I wanted to have like an event that people could really remember.
Yeah.
And people the whole night were just like, this is such a cool vibe. And I was like, that's all I was trying to create. Not like just something to like come out and watch us play, but like to have an experience.
Yeah.
That you can take away, and people, I mean, unfortunately 2020 happened.
Yeah.
But after we did this, we were like, who wants to see Winter is Coming come back and be like an annual thing?
Yeah.
And everyone was just like, oh my God, that would be amazing. And we were thinking of like the fact that we are like an acoustic driven band, that the acts that we would book would be kind of stripped down. So if we booked a full band, like they would do like a stripped down kind of thing just to kind of fit the vibe and just kind of create this
which is cool, man, that people will like they like it so much, like obviously like fans that will come to pay and watch, but obviously like people that are artists liked it so much that they'd be willing to go out of their realm to match your guys' vibe and your guys' energy. That's real cool, man. That's really cool. So you guys dropped in you've gotten on a whole what did you guys call it? A volume
series.
Yeah, volume series. Okay, that's really cool. That's different too, man. I like that you guys are calling it a volume series.
Right.
That's really cool.
Because hashtag medicine music is kind of something that Adam's been using for a long time, and we were like, we're
medicine music volume 1, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So we were thinking of dropping just a whole length album.
Yeah.
And calling it hashtag medicine music. But, we have so much material.
Yeah, he's so much over the years. So much.
And it's like, why would we drop one record called that and then move on to something else and then have to like redo the branding?
Like the whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of the whole thing. So Adam is very single driven.
Yeah. Okay.
He would release every song as a single and not give two shits about it.
I know he does that, yeah.
Which like is cool. Yeah, we kind of live in a single driven environment. But I love like bodies of work.
Yeah.
Like having like a start, a middle, a finish,
an interlude.
Starting it right. And then like dropping the needle and just like seeing where it takes you on this kind of sonic journey.
I love it.
But we then had to, what we do best, we come to a compromise, and I was like, well, what if we just did like a bunch of EPs?
Yeah,
and he was like
volumes,
right, and just call it volumes and do volume 1, volume 2, and Adam was like, yeah, but I want to release every song as a single too, and I was like, okay, so then we release every song as a single, and then at the end of it, say like this is volume 1, 2.
Yeah.
And
that's
we're gonna
awesome.
have 5 volumes.
That's awesome. 5 volumes. And that's what, dude, that's awesome. So that's something that kind of goes into my next thing. Kind of, I'm gonna segue into Mike. The consistency. You guys are consistent, and Mike, you talk a lot about, and a lot of these new vlogs that you're coming out with is just keeping consistency and you know, like I have one pulled up. We're gonna get to in a second. But I did watch a few. I've watched I think 2 for the entire episodes that you put out of your mic check.
I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Which I forgot to say, go check out their podcast. It's called I Get It.
I Get It.
The last podcast on Earth, right?
That's
That's
right.
right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So go check that out, and then also go check out Sunday Drives and Mic Check on your Mike Heffron YouTube page, right? Yeah. So you've been doing those. So what got you into doing like these vlog style things and being like overall just content creator, kind of like the style that's came out?
Love the content, man.
Yeah.
I'm a big consumer of content and just love it. And I'm really big into creating things, not just like content, but like bands, brands, business ideas.
You had a managing company that we actually did a video for. Back when it was up and running. I mean, obviously COVID and stuff happened, but you know, we did do a couple things with you guys. I told the story once already. I would tell it again. Did you ever hear about it when we seen the guy from The Walking Dead?
I don't think so.
No, you never heard. I'll retell.
Yeah, I want to know about this.
I'll retell it.
Or maybe I did hear.
So,
but
you saw Norman Reedus?
Yeah, we saw Norman Reedus. Yeah, so we were there filming for that video, and we were there for like 2 hours. We had set up, and everything was ready to go. We'd done a couple run throughs, and we're ready to go for a real shoot. And then next thing you know, Norman Reedus walks in the door with a camera crew. And they got their big rigs and they got security and stuff. And like they're eyeballing the shit out of us. Because we got cameras. Because we got
a whole rig already ready.
Yeah, and we're ready to go. And they come in and they're like doing a show. It's like a motorcycle show. And he like popped up in this arcade to sign the Walking Dead arcade game. So he did that. And then like they were, as soon as he showed up, 3 minutes, 100 people were there. So we got a whole crowd of people there all of a sudden. And we're like, they're like eyeballing us because we look like the paparazzi got tipped off.
Yeah. So, it's like it's a trap.
So there's Norman Reedus with his hood on, trying to ignore everybody and do his thing with his show, and then they're in and out in 10 minutes. I'm like, man, that's Hollywood, man. They're
quick
know how to do
with
it, man.
Yeah, and I love that
but we
process.
Told you that, man.
Yeah,
you booked that. You
I figured
that.
Rachel would have told me about
you would
this.
Think, man, that's hilarious. That's
so great. It's like the serendipity of it at that time and everything.
That's cool.
Because that was at the that arcade.
Yeah.
In Lexington. Where's that played? The Burl.
The Burl. Yeah.
Super cool spot.
Yeah.
Was that the Burl?
Yeah, but not like the venue part, but the arcade part.
I didn't know there was an arcade.
It's across the street,
it's like a huge barcade building that's across like the parking lot from that building.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, the
I
Burl's
love the Burl.
tight. We played there once, and super cool venue.
So you like you were saying, you just love like content yourself, so that kind of is what got you into doing it.
And I love like building things, like, because that's the reason I even started the first management company. Is like I love building like brands and bands, and like my bands is like loved that, but kind of behind the scene, like working that, and kind of like everybody, like if anyone has an idea, I'm already like interested. I'm like, oh, you have an idea? You're gonna do something? Okay, how are you gonna do it?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna do? Ooh, okay. Oh, you know what you should do? And then like, it just gets my blood going.
I love that approach, man.
And so I was like, I really want to start a YouTube channel and kind of talk about a lot of these things, because when I was doing the management, I was just talking to my clients and like just downloading everything I could into them. But I'm like, people could use this for anything. It's not just about bands. It's like you could have like a frying pan company, and it's the same principles.
Yeah.
And it's not even less interesting to me. Like I could have a client that would like make toilet paper, and I'd be like, oh, this will be cool. We should get the toilet paper. Dude, for Halloween, you should give kids your toilet paper to toilet paper houses with and make it a publicity.
Yeah.
Like, that's just fun to me.
That's awesome.
So, but there's something about the talking head like lecture thing in the like my first videos is just me sitting in front of a desk and like talking.
Yeah.
And I didn't find it to be like that interesting, and kind of very easy to tune out. It's like listening to like a lecture at like a college or something. I'm like, it'd be more fun if I just kind of show like
you're
a day
doing.
in the life,
Yeah.
and then sprinkle in thoughts and ideas into that.
Yeah.
Because then because some people are very, I don't know. For me, I'm a very visual and like hands-on learner. Like I can't just have someone sitting at a desk with a whiteboard and be like, "This is how you do it." Like it's just not gonna really. I have to watch someone do it. You know, like if someone's trying to teach me how to like build, you know, a birdhouse. They can't just like sit there and tell me about it. I need to like see their hands doing it. I need to see like where are you putting the tools away at, like all of that.
Yeah, you're a visual learner. I'm the same. I'm actually really the same. Because I'm illiterate. I have a podcast.
You can't read? You can't read or write well?
I can. I just can't alliterate my words. I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying.
No, I see what you mean. But you've never struck me as that way, for sure. Like,
I'm a rambler. That's, I think, the biggest thing. But, I mean, I like it, though, man, because like, what you're saying in these videos is just, you know, your concept of how to visualize and do things, you know, like to get out there and do it. And that's been a repeated thing on the show, is just, you got to just do it, man. You just got to get out there, do it. If you suck at it, you'll suck at it. You'll get better.
Yeah, you're going to suck at it.
Yeah,
like you're going to suck because you've never done it before. It would be ridiculous if you just like never did something and the first time you did it you were like the best.
Yeah. That would be ridiculous. But I mean, that's what prodigies, I guess, are. But I wonder.
Yeah, unless you're like Mozart or something.
Yeah,
and even he probably sucked, but he was like
first,
6 when he sucked. You know, he's
I
like
bet
4.
Mozart sucked.
I wanted to watch just a little bit of one of these though, because you make them a nice 10 minutes long. I love that you do that too.
I want it to be a nice chunk. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I wanted to get, because so you never really like. I mean, you've got you've been in music videos, you've acted in theater, you've done all this creative stuff, but I've never known you as like a cinematic kind of person. You know what I mean? Like you've got a camera and started learning how to get, you know, these, like you're getting these nice shots. And what I like about what you're doing is that, so my favorite right here. So you do the date and you do it on your mug, right? And then what you do, now you have your mug in your hand. And you do, you know, another little timestamp. That's storytelling.
Right. Precisely.
That's storytelling.
I love storytelling. And
cinematically, like that's. Did you guys watch the Daft Punk video?
No, I want to see that because I just heard about that.
It's all. There's no words. There's no nothing. It's just body language.
Yeah.
And it tells exactly what happens. It's perfect. It's so good. Sandwich Jones made a big post about it. Go read what he said about it. It's beautiful. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
I want to see that. Because, man, rest in peace, Daft Punk.
Yeah, Daft Punk, man. So this is what you were talking about, like the talking head thing. Like you do a little bit of it, but then you show more about the rest of your day.
Because like a little bit has to be that way.
It has to.
Yeah, like even when I was doing music videos and like the one we watched, Hard to Stay, it's like I came up with the whole concept and like the story and how I wanted it to play out. But it's really hard in a music video to convey story. Yeah. Like we've tried to do it so many times, but the format of a music video is like, it's really hard to tell a story because you have to cram it all in a very short amount of time, and the music is very important, and sometimes the story is not directly tied to the music itself.
Most of the time it's just artsy. It's just like visual, like pleasure. You know, it's like, oh, this looks
performance
really
shots,
good.
hot people, cool stuff.
Yep.
Subtlety is really lost a lot in music videos because it's a lot of sensory overload. But with something like this, like you picked up on it, it's like show the cat and then the cat mug and then the mug comes with you.
It's storytelling 101. I love it, dude. It's good. It's so cool to see, you know, somebody utilizing those things in something like a vlog. And then you got the lo-fi music, like you talk about a lot, like it's
and that's part of the consistency too.
Yeah,
like
you're keeping it running in your life as a theme. You know, you're not just like, I'll just say it and then, you know, it's just a thing that's passes by. No, you're like, okay, well, I like this. Let's make this into something that I do constantly, make it a part of my character, and then that will build my character.
Right, and I think you and Caden have that same thing. It's a beauty, and we were talking about it on when you were on the podcast as well. It's like when you see Claremont Films, it's not like it's the same story, but you guys have a very consistent stylistic approach.
We try
and not just
hard.
on those films, but on like the short projects, on the podcasts. Like you can tell that your hands are in there.
Yeah,
and that's really cool. And I'm obsessed with that. Like I love brand consistency.
Yeah,
I'm like sort of OCD about that. Like I love being in the store and like seeing like the art and be like, oh, look at this Tide box. Like it's really weird. But I just like, oh, the way that this color pops off the orange. And then you see a bad brand and you're like, there's a reason why no one likes this is because they can't read this text. Why is this so small? How is anyone going to see that? Like, and the game. The game is fun.
The kind of science behind that is really interesting.
It is a format. I'm still trying to figure it out.
It's a science. It's also like it adapts constantly. Like if you look at branding from the 90s, it's so funny. Like if you see like a vending machine from the 90s and you look at all of the like Pepsi and Coke, like all the logos are of that time and have since changed to something completely different.
Yeah.
So consistency's good, but you also need to know when it's like, you know what, we need an update. Like when Walmart went all lowercase, they decided, we're not going to do that anymore.
When Target went all lowercase.
Yeah. So something I noticed is like in movies, like something that people don't really listen to is like noises. Like they don't pay close attention. So music is either used up front or diegetically. By diegetic, I mean like it's in the scene, like it's on a radio or it's playing in the car, like you hear it like that. So what I've seen people do is they'll do up front, it's playing like out the speakers, you can hear it, it's clear as day, and then it will go to like behind. Right, like it won't sound diegetic. It will just get lower, like it will sound softer, and then somebody will open a door, and then it will be diegetic. Yeah. So there's 3 changes in the audio to make it into a fluent feeling, and like you don't recognize that when you're watching it unless you're paying attention to it. And as a filmmaker, I mean, I'm just constantly looking at that kind of stuff. Like, oh, what was weird about that? Did they cut? We watched this movie, The Tax Man or Tax Collector.
Tax Collectors.
Yeah, with Shia LaBeouf.
I've heard.
I love Shia LaBeouf.
I heard he got like a bunch of shit for that role.
Yeah,
by people that didn't see it.
Yeah, which is stupid. I would give him shit because he tried to do a Mexican accent and it fell off a lot.
I did really see that where it's like at least be consistent.
Yeah, he has poor taste.
I love him. He's a great.
It's his
actor.
Character, like, because he's supposed to be like a white dude that was raised in a completely Mexican neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were like, why is he acting like he's Mexican? It's like, well, he was born and raised
they didn't
in a Mexican neighborhood.
Well enough. That was my problem. It's like they did a lot of jump cuts, which I didn't feel like were necessary. Like it wasn't an action-y movie it was more of a, it was just crime violence based. It wasn't like like Fast and Furious, but they were cutting it up like Fast and Furious. I'm like, this is, what was it, Caden? I said Fast and Furious, and what was the other movie I compared it to? There was another. It was like a kid. It was like a kids thing. It's fast.
Spy Kids.
Spy Kids. So it was like a combined Spy Kids
with Fast and Furious, and put Shia LaBeouf.
And put a bunch of like
or something.
R-rated crime scenes in it, and that's Tax Collector.
Okay.
I liked it, but I didn't.
Yeah, but it's funny that you mentioned like sound and film, because like when I was in college, like I studied a lot of sound design for film. Like that was one of my major parts that I loved, and the same with video games. Like people don't think about the ambient environment of a video game, and like BioShock is one of my favorites, because if you're in the game and you just sit there, like you hear the world, you hear like a hissing pipe, like so far away, like a shuffling set of feet, like in the distance, like that sort of 3-dimensional space. And it's the thing that really separates for me whether you can tell if a movie is like good or not based upon the sound. Like really bad overdubbed audio, like dialogue. Yeah. So I was watching a bunch of these like 48-hour film shorts that people were doing. You get like 48 hours. Here's your concept.
Are you talking about the Cincinnati one?
No, this was just on YouTube. But I know people that have done the Cincinnati one. They give them like, it has to have to do with a dog named Elmer, and like you have to make a short. And some of them are great, but then the ones that are, sometimes the dialogue is like, either you hear so much room noise, like the AC unit is just wrecking it,
or it sounds like they're on a radio,
or it's like the mouse moving, and they're like, have you seen my dog Elmer?
So like, we've done dubs before. I was gonna say, just in our films, the last 4, was it I said? The last 4? The last 4 just feel and look so different than the rest of them, because we really focused on the soundscaping. Like we put fake sounds in most of it to really,
for sure,
make you feel it and understand what it is that's going on.
I could definitely notice that, like even little touches that were you guys took your time to really immerse it.
Yeah,
because it's like music is that way. Like when you're mixing a song and like you start using compressors because you want to glue the parts together.
Yeah,
and with the film, it's the same way. You want to glue the sound into the scene so it seems really seamless. And you can either do it by recording it directly as it's happening, but most of the time it's done in post. Most movies, people don't realize, like, most of that dialogue is not recorded during the scene. Like, it is overdubbed.
Yeah, a lot of times.
But the audio guys have recorded, like, so much room tone that they'll, like, incorporate the room tone within the track and then go into reverb. And, like, reverb in music is just sort of an effect to do. But in sound design, like, you are literally looking at the room and being like, how would it sound if someone was speaking in that room? Yeah, it's a huge process.
I love it. It's super fun to do it. And you said it perfect, man. Just gluing everything together. And that's what I think you guys have done with everything you guys have done. You guys have done a good job of gluing it all together. Like, even as separate people, you're still like, you know, you got something, and then you got what you guys are doing. And it's awesome. It's awesome what you guys got going on, man.
Appreciate it.
I want to thank you guys for coming on. I want to thank you guys for coming on the podcast, man. Coming out here from the west side to the east side.
Yeah,
that's right.
Love it, man. Appreciate you inviting us on. I'm loving the podcast.
Thank you, man. I love yours, man. I started as soon as you guys posted up, I was on it. And same with Sandwich Jones with the Further Riff. I love that stuff too, man.
Yeah.
Anybody that's doing content, man, I'm on it
too. But I love your podcast the most.
Well, thank you. I'm blushing. Oh man. But this has been Talking to Me, Talking to You, and I'm out here, guys. Have a good one.